And welcome to one of the arenas of European basketball, the Palais de Sport here in Thessalonica. And Thessalonica, ΑΡΗΣ take on Hapoel Jerusalem in week 2 of the EuroCup here on Eurosport 2. Both teams unbeaten, both teams looking to establish themselves as one of the leading teams in this group. With me tonight, as always, as we see one of the most famous coloured kit in European basketball, the yellows of ARΗS, is Martin Hennon. What a game for week 2. We're only week 2 of this competition, 2 unbeaten teams, 2 of the biggest names in European basketball. This is going to be a real barnstormer, Mark. You've got Hapoel Jerusalem, who we know love to run. They showed their toughness with their first home game last week, where they were successful against Šiauliai of Lithuania. And ΑΡΗΣ, as you said, a legendary name from European basketball. And this team, there's high expectations, as the crowd's already starting to jeer and whistle in support of the home team. This team was here on a number of occasions in ΑΡΗΣ. The atmosphere is always great, but we always worry sometimes if they start badly, this crowd can start getting at the home team. What can Jerusalem do to make that happen? Well, Jerusalem need to get out and make shots early. They're undersized in the paint, so the ΑΡΗΣ have got big Andy Betts, the British centre at 7'1" in the middle, and so Jerusalem's more athletic guys like Kevin Pinkney, Leo Lyons need to try and make shots away from the basket just to create some space so the smooth guys like Trey Simmons can try and do his mid-range game, although he made some great threes at the weekend. So they're a great offensive team, Jerusalem, but ΑΡΗΣ, with this fanatical fan base, will be certainly pumped up tonight, Mark. Well, ΑΡΗΣ, as Martin said, a team looking to be getting themselves back at the top level of European basketball, EuroLeague. One of the ways to do that is to win this EuroCup competition, and as Martin said, they're built to do that. But we saw with us last week, you saw this Hapoel team, and they have some talent. The crowd here in Thessalonica already on their feet, already getting behind their team, ΑΡΗΣ Thessalonica, as they host Hapoel Jerusalem here. Game 2 of the EuroCup. Both teams unbeaten. Both teams could get a really steal a march on the rest of this group. Referee just about to throw it up, and there's a sight for British fans. Andy Betts, the huge man in the middle. Great summer for Andy Betts at Eurobasket. Doing a great job for this ΑΡΗΣ team. He will be the rock this team builds its performance around. ΑΡΗΣ starting the game with that tempo they like. Move the ball, Greek basketball, as you see it every week. Penetration, spread the floor. Getting deep on the shot clock, Chloe. The first offense down. Goes to Betts on the inside, goes up. Looks like he wanted the foul, didn't get it. Yeah, and he's got to be stronger than that. He's got to play through the foul. The referee will call it. You see Jerusalem has started the big fella Brandon Hunter in the inside to try and negate his strength. They can't cover his height, but Hunter, 6'8", rock diesel player in the middle. He's not going to give any inches up to Betts, and this is a good matchup early on. Well, Hunter went for the little jump hook. Bad sign for Jerusalem. No one went to the offensive boards there at all, as a whistle down the floor. Must have been a bit of a bump down the floor, a little bit of an elbow. I think that's not a bad sign. That, after saying it was a bad sign, there was no offensive boards. Good sign that they're trying to physically impose themselves. They're trying to match up with them physically. As I said, you know, the average height for the Jerusalem team is about 6'5", 6'6", and inside they haven't got a player over 6'8", whereas ΑΡΗΣ, 7'1", Andy Betts, and this is where he can really cause problems. He's so much bigger, he can distribute the ball from the paint and try and free up some of the smaller guards, and great ball movement there. Wide open three, deep in the corner, excellent ball movement, nicely made by Jeremy Richardson. Got his feet set, just stroked it deep. But such unselfish offensive play by ΑΡΗΣ in the half court. Yeah, and you can see already ΑΡΗΣ trying to be aggressive physically, defensively, but there's the athleticism there. That time Kevin Pinkney slips. Betts kicks it out. Threats us with the threes. Good back-to-back threes. And Hatziretis makes the three that time. And this that's Michael Kakuzis there, Mark, who's been around for a long time. This the veteran team. They've got 5 guys over the AEK team that he played on, where he coached a few years back. So they're familiar with each other, and there's a war going on in that paint. That's a travel. Oh, there's a travel. I wouldn't mind seeing the replay. I thought the ball was knocked away from inside the basket on that shot by Hunter. Nice move, but you're going to get the travel here. There's the travel, and there's another travel. And well, maybe he should have kicked that out. Betts wants to travel and was given the travel as Clark brings the ball down here. He's doing a nice job at the point guards for ΑΡΗΣ this year. Gives them a lot of control. Again, spreading the floor as diatηρώντας comes out high. And it's a little sagging defense here, a little 2-3 zone by Χάποελ here, trying to take some pace out of it. diatηρώντας goes to the basket, pulls up, is way off.
And they've got to get better ball movement, better player movements. What they needed. Jerusalem spread the floor well, and he said, they're no chumps. They're not favoured tonight by any means, but you can see already they've come ready to play. They're aggressively going to the basket offensively, and on defence they've already got their physical presence made. They've shot one elbow already, and you see in ΑΡΗΣ their first 2 baskets, 3 points. They need something going to the basket now.
Well, that's a bad number for Jerusalem. 2 turnovers early in the game as Clark long. No yellow shirts going to the boards there, and the pace of the game will probably still suit ΑΡΗΣ though, because Jerusalem really want to be up and down the floor. Pull up after, nice again. We saw a lot of that last week. Open play, no set. Simmons that time just pulls up off that screen, and he did that. Trey Simmons last week. Don't run sets if you're Jerusalem now. Keep the floor spread and keep attacking.
Well, we were loving him last week, Mark, as we said. He's so smooth, great mid-range game. And I like Andy Betts doing just that, crashing to the basket. He's not a guy who's going to put up 20 points a game. He's going to give you solid inside play, great position that time, right at the dots and halfway up the lane. Takes it to the basket strong and just powers over people. He'll miss his first shot, but he's great at getting the tip backs and sticking it in. So his stat line won't look great, but he'll give you 10 points, 12 rebounds most nights.
Simmons again. Oof. Well, there you go again. Give him space. He pulls up, knocks it down, back to back.
Deep his face off the pick and roll. ΑΡΗΣ needs to get some defensive rhythm at the moment. They'll find a way to score. They're going to put up 80 points, but this is why they're trying to get Betts established early. And that's a big man finishing. Come on, the Brits.
Well, Andy Betts, it's a very obvious ploy here by ΑΡΗΣ early. When Betts is in the game, he sees a lot of the ball, and obviously with the mismatch in size that he has, ΑΡΗΣ are giving the ball to Andy Betts most times down the floor. He's had touches, Martin.
And Mark, you see the reason why is not necessarily for the scoring opportunities, but to draw fouls. Pinckney there picks up his second. That'll force a sub and bring in the smaller, lighter Leo Lyons into the game. ΑΡΗΣ wants to get into the Jerusalem bench. That's where they feel that they'll have the edge.
Rebounded by Jerusalem off the miss by Andy Betts, and quarter 1 going well here for ΑΡΗΣ. They lead 10-7. Crowder into it. His name here, trying.
Impressive that fan noise is. Listen to the ΑΡΗΣ fans, and that's not being played on a loop on a DVD player. That's 3,500 Greeks up, cheering, ranting. There's a lot of passion in this gym tonight.
As always, diatηρώντας moves the ball. Gets to the ball again. There is a foul as he, didn't make the shot, but Richardson was fouled. The ball movement was good again, and the fouls early are starting to mount up on the key people for Hapol Jerusalem.
Yeah, and what you hate is a big man pick there, the little touch on the arm. It's a foul every time. If you're Guy Goodis, the coach of Jerusalem, you hate to see your big man picking up cheapies, and that's a bad foul to pick up. This guy here, Jeremy Richardson, a tough player to scout, really. He's been out of college for a couple of years now, but he's been on the end of NBA benches, so you know he's got a certain level of quality, but he hasn't played full seasons where you can say, okay, this are his tendencies, 20 points a game, nice rebounder. He's a good shooter of the basketball, we know that, but it's tough for Jerusalem to get a scouting feel for him, and only through the course of this season will we get to get a true measure of the worth of this player.
Well, he goes 2 from 3 from the 3-throw line, and Richardson gets himself in the points. So that's picking up 5 points out of the 12 that ΑΡΗΣ already have, and they lead by 5. And Jerusalem slowing it up, trying to create advantage by spreading the floor. Now they're going to get the high post screen. Naomi turns it down, pulls up for the 2. Nice move again. The spreading of the floor looks good.
Yeah, the pick and roll high is always a tough offensive set to guard, no matter what team you've got. And ΑΡΗΣ, they won't mind giving up that shot. If Naomi beats them with 20 points off pick and roll, then wash your hands, go home, we lost to a better team. But he's not going to do that. He's looking to pass coming off that.
Clark with a long 3 is short, and that's gone over the top. Again, that's a worry. ΑΡΗΣ are either looking very good offensively. That's normally when Betts gets to
ball out of bounds, but if it had come down into play, Betts would have cleared that up, and so ΑΡΗΣ are going to be quite happy right now, especially if they're not drawing contact there. Brandon Hunt's a nice fadeaway jump shot, but you've got to get the big fella in foul trouble. You need to get him to sit down. If Betts plays 30 minutes tonight, I think it's going to be a long night for the boys from Jerusalem.
It's Atsaretsis will bring it out and set it up. Clark gets it. Nice little fake with a jab step.
Great ball movement.
Absolute tremendous pass.
Great ball movement. And see, you know, we talk about balance on this team, and there's a lot of veteran players. But what have you got on this ARΗS team? There are 3 national team players, and they're Hatzivretsas. You know, these who nails the 3, maybe in a 2, maybe in a foot on the line there. They've got depth. These guys have played at the highest level, and they're all role players as well. We don't need a 25-point turnout by one player. They're a great offensive unit.
Well, the first time out taken by Jerusalem here, and they must be worried about the way that this zone is creating their offense anyway. ARÍS' offense is creating wide open shots.
Yeah, wide open shots, and they're not controlling the glass. As you see at Betts there, showing the beast and power on the inside. Chance opportunities there, and there you see the 7-footer going to work. And if they're going to have to rely on Naomi coming off pick and rolls, they could be in trouble. If you're Jerusalem, if you're Guy Goodis, what you want to do is keep it close in the first quarter. You want this to be under sub-20-point quarters is what he's looking for. 15-9, that's a bad number for him. He wants this game to be played in the 70s. If ARÍS gets this up into the 80s, they'll be feeling very confident.
Both teams will see good things in both those stats. How, you know, Jerusalem they're having problems on the boards, but they're actually winning that battle on the rebounds.
Well, there's been more shots,
obviously, but they've turned the ball over 3 times early, and they haven't really been turnovers and caused by pressure. Maybe the situation, maybe the crowd, but they're only 6. They're only down 6 early. They've got an opportunity here with the basketball to eat into that lead. As you said, they can keep it around this sort of margin, 5-6 points. Those traveling Jerusalem fans are going to be starting to believe, and that's the thing when you're in the way in gyms like this. You've got to start believing you can win. Here's Naomi closing to the sideline. Bad pass to Simons, but he's off the glass. He is instant offense. Simons, what a tremendous player this guy is.
He's so smooth, Mark. We talk about it. He hits a lot of threes if he's open. Its mid-range game is tough to guard. He's 6'7", 6'8", so he's got the length to go in amongst the trees. And there's Kiki Clark, who's anything but a tree.
Well, Clark steps on the sideline, and out of the timeout, the Simons 2, and a turnover. And ARÍS struggled a little bit there. The defense was extended. Jerusalem now a chance to get it under 4. So good news for their fans here. Naomi backs out, goes inside, nice extra pass, and the foul. That's the first foul one of the guys from ARÍS picks up, and that's a strong move by Hunter. No fadeaway that time, was prepared to take the punishment.
That's the right way to take it up, and Jeremy Richardson there frustrated with himself. He missed the rotation there. Betts went over to help on the mismatch, and Richardson's got to get in there quick. He can't let that pass get off. But you see, no prisoners taken in the paint tonight there as Betts slams the big fella down, says, "This is my house."
Gives him a little look, but
that's handbags at 20 paces.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They're all pros out on the floor.
I'm sure this is what's important now for Hunter. He needs to step off the floor, get off the floor, get to the free throw line, make the throws, cut the margin, and he's done his job. So
well, big switch, because don't forget last week he didn't start. He didn't play as many minutes. So it's a game situation change in the team on the floor by Coach Guy Goodis, and I was just wondering when the subs were going to come into play. Pooh Jeter has just come in for Hapoel Jerusalem, but more importantly from my perspective, Juan Dixon, the point guard who's just got the ball coming for ARÍS. This is the clutch player. This is the guy that will make the difference offensively for ARÍS tonight.
Betts rolls to the basket. Dixon puts it on the floor, off the glass. Well, you've done your research here, Mr. Hay, you know.
Well, Mickey Betts try to hit me with some zap about the history of Juan Dixon, but you know, this is a guy you've got to love. When his national championship days, when he was at University of Maryland, great team they had out there with Lonnie Baxter and so on, really strong team, and wow, Clark should never get defense is not obviously his key forte.
Right,
that's out of bounds.
There's a foul by Betts on the sideline. He won't be pleased about picking up a foul that far from the basket, but
that's an old school stop the play.
Stop the play, mate. Yeah.
That goes back to the days when it used to be 8 fouls and a half, not 4 1/4. And I remember from my days playing in Greece, you never allow a 3-on-2 fast break. You just stop. Foul before half court is one of your little bet noirs, isn't it?
Absolutely.
But if you foul before half court, referee will never call it intentional.
The rotation's coming in now as Aaron Miles steps in. Guys with pedigree all over the floor now. So ARÍS with a 2-point margin in the first quarter. Jeter pulls up, strokes it, ties it up at 17-17, and Hapoel Jerusalem, that timeout they took has really settled the ship here, and they've gone man-to-man, which has again ignited them in terms of how they're playing both ends of the floor. Dixon pulls up to, well, he is absolute instant offense.
Well, he's a smooth, and then there's no one on this team averaging over 12 points a game, so you don't really say, well, there's any superstars, but guys like Dixon have the ability to go for 20. They've got a couple of guys out there like that, and if they can pick up defensive intensity as they're trying here, and Naomi, the future Tapiro, the new Tapiro on the block, comes up with another nice mid-range jumper, and that's good for Jerusalem. They're scoring inside the three-point line, not necessarily layups, but they're not trying to live and die on the three-point line, unlike ARΗS.
Well, it's I like the way Goodis has done this now. He's scored, so he's gone to a zone, and he's mixing up his defense, trying to take away the rhythm of ARÍS. Nice pass to the inside. Betts again with a little
over his left shoulder, that little baby hook. Virtually unstoppable for a guy of his size. The defense has got to happen before he catches the ball. My old trick would have been to bump him a step higher, to turn that into an 8-foot jump hook instead of a 2-foot, and that's his money shot right there. Talk about on the roll. I'm going to have to get in touch with him next week. I might average 10 points a game for him.
Andy Betts looking every inch a quality big man as he opens up the 4-point lead. And ARÍS lead 23-19.
You got to wonder when they're going to go to the subs on the inside, and this is where I think ARÍS will have the edge, because Betts isn't going to go for 40, but you've got Dikudis coming off the bench, another national team player.
Jeter steals it. Now this will be interesting. They're going to go 2 for 1 here. They get a quick shot, they'll get the ball back. They've gone for Namis with it. Beautiful quick release. That's a little differential on the shot clock here. 10 seconds. 23-22. Off the screen, wide open, puts it on the floor. Richardson steps in for 2, nails it. End of the quarter, 25-22. Well, we talked about Hapoel Jerusalem not wanting an 80-point game. At this rate, we're looking at both teams getting into the 90s, getting towards 100 points. Well, if you like your basketball fast and a lot of points, you've just seen a great quarter of basketball. ARÍS lead it 25-22. Jerusalem will be happy on the road. We're going to take a break so we can catch our breath, and we'll be back after this break for the second quarter.
They started 10 minutes before the game.
Absolutely. Well, and there you see the score line. There you see the error, the points off of errors there. And Jerusalem have done a great job of turning turnovers into points, and they trail 3, but they have the basketball at the start of this second quarter. Pujita's still in the game. Naomi's,
for goodness sake, he's carrying about, what, 27 kilos on his back.
Never goes beyond the 3-point line.
Yeah, you know, I have no sympathy for a point guard playing a lot of minutes, believe me.
He's a little bit perplexed, but good news for your Jerusalem traveling fans here. 2 team fouls in the first 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's definitely got the hold there, but now in the between quarters, Coach Katsikaris, a guy I know well and played with for a couple of years, he's an aggressive defensive coach. He wants his team to get a lot more aggressive. You see there, Kakuda's getting his hand.
I mean, Martin, who was a great big man, knows exactly what we're talking about here in terms of getting to the front of the ring.
It's his positioning again. Look, there's the confidence he's gone to Jerusalem. He could be a difference maker for this team. He's explosive. We know he can score, and that penetration there really was a thing of beauty.
Yeah. Dixon again answers with points down the other end, though. Siemens again tries to wrap the pass. Or a back-to-back 2, stepping into space. 28-26.
Well, ARÍS need to do a better job of guarding the ball handler, because what's happening is they're penetrating, the Jerusalem players are penetrating, and then Betts is having to come over and help. And he's got to have more. And I think he's blowing now, trying to get him a blow, get him a sub.
Yeah, Betts needs a bit of a blow here. They were trying to eke a few more minutes after that quarter break, but Jeter on the floor, a little floater off the glass is no good. And Cocky is all over the glass. He keeps it alive. Jeter's going to get the points, but someone on that stats needs to give something to Cocky there. He kept it alive. 1 on 3 on the glass. Ties it up 28-28.
Just like magic, Mark was the sub on the bench there. Jimmy Dikudis coming in to give Betts a break. And the thing is, if you don't get him out, it's not that he'll start playing poorly, but he'll end up picking up a foul.
Well, he's going up. He'll make these. Yes, he does. Andy Betts again. It was the seal holds his space. Way to use his body. Andy Betts, veteran. Well, let's be fair to Andy Betts now. He is a top-level big man in anyone's book. Great performance in the first 2 quarters here by Andy Betts.
Yeah, he's been at the top of the Greek league for a number of years, played in the EuroLeague Final Four, so he's done it all, seen it. You know, worn the T-shirt. Oh, nice. Well,
all over the place. What a great move, but they couldn't come up with the points. This will be 2 easy ones. That should be on 1. Jeter did foul. Dixon went to the basket quickly. Jeter tried to reach round, hit him. No foul called. Jerusalem, though, not panicking. Naomi bringing it down, trying to spread the floor again. They've got to get some balance here. Comes off the high post screen.
And again, you see Betts got to roll to help, and there's no help for him at the other end.
Well, danger signs here, though. Oh, Betts is the big man hand. He fouls, and at the moment, you're 100% on the calls. You know, his effort was great. Should have just made the 2. Richardson went for the dunk, missed it.
That's what I said, Mark. I said, difficult to scout a guy who's sat on the bench for 4 years. You know, he's obviously a quality player. We've seen a great athlete. He's long, a scorer. That's one, you know, I've seen players get cut for less than that. You know, you've got to concentrate. We've got to have that 2 points. And Betts, you see well-earned break coming to him. And quite rightly, the camera's focusing on the big man. And that sort of intensity is what will carry ARÍS over the course of 40 minutes. It's very difficult. You can't coach size. You know, you can't teach someone how to be 7'1", and he uses every inch of his size in the first quarter. Interesting
to see now how ARÍS do with Betts on the bench, because he's completely different sort of balance to the lineup now.
Yeah, but Kudus is no chump, you know.
No, he's not a chump, but he's not 7'3" though.
No, he's not. He's 6'9", 6'10". More of a, he's got the ability to step away from the basket a bit more. He's a great athlete. He's probably more agile than Andy, and he's a strong finisher, and he's going to get a lot of respect because of his time on the national team.
Kudus is a quality player. He's a world champion, silver medalist, European gold medalist. ARÍS now, though, getting out and running. There's 4 numbers down there. Great pass. Kukis on the inside. Kakayushi's just ran the floor. Great break by ARÍS. 4 yellow shirts.
But 1, Dixon. What a pass. That's where you win national championships. That's an 8-year pro there.
That's a great number there, Martin, isn't it? 9 assists.
Yeah, and that was the big difference at the end of the quarter. They had 6 assists versus Jerusalem's only 2.
Jeter with a long 3.
And they can just feel the rhythm of the game. Forget the scoreboard for a second. The rhythm of the game is very much in the favor of ARÍS. And if this tempo continues, it's going to be difficult for Jerusalem, who are only playing off 1 day's rest, don't forget, because they played their last league game on Sunday. Difficult for them to maintain this rhythm and this pace. They've got to find a way to slow it down when they're on defense and still get their up-tempo offensive game going.
Well, Aaron Miles penetrated to the basket quickly, got fouled by Kokia as he misses the reverse layup, but that's the 2 great aspects there. As Martin says, the pass, tremendous. The spacing and the numbers down the floor, that's the way to play the break. You've got numbers on the bench. We talked about the way they share the ball. No one should play tired on this team. They've got a great rotation.
Yeah, exactly. You know, as I said, they've got 5 guys averaging between 9 and 12 points. They're a team that people would have missed because they've lost 3 games in the Greek league already, but they're certainly built for great things in Europe.
Well, it's Hapoel Jerusalem timeout, and Coach Gudas says that's a great time to call that. He saw, as you called it, the rhythm of the game was getting too quick. In ARÍS, we're getting too many early shots. He called it quickly. He wants to stop that momentum.
He needs to re-establish his offensive patterns as well, Mark. You know, do play with the ball in their hands. Great game plan by this coach here, Fortis Katsikaris, who's forcing the role players to be the key roles offensively. And here he's giving the young fella, young
Scodilius.
Yeah, Scodilius, who hardly ever plays. 18 years old. One of these, they have these great young kids come to 2005 minutes, or he'll get 4 dunks.
But he's got some shoulders on his shoulders. He's one of those guys. There he is, right in front of the camera there, as easy 2 there off the free throws for Aaron Miles, and it's eking out now to an 8-point ARÍS lead, just where Jerusalem just need to hang tough for a few minutes, stop the rhythm, and try to get good shots, and I think we're going to get an offensive foul, and that's not what they need.
And Mark, we talked about Dicudas and what he does differently, and you know, contrasting him to Andy Betts. He's a great exterior defender, can play all positions. He's a smart veteran. He's been around a long time, and look, watch this foot movement. He's got his position in place, and the arm comes up from Lions. Dicudas, as I said, played at Ajax when Katsikaris was coaching there a few years ago. So you know, they've been together. Him, Hatzivretas. So this team knows how to work effectively together.
Good ball movement again.
And good player move. Look, move the floor. All in there for us every rebound.
The
and the young fella.
Up. Yes. Tremendous ball movement. A lot of chasing. And the big man, obviously watching big Andy Betts, gets his feet set in the key where Skordilis gets his feet set and says, hey, you're not moving me, I'm going up.
Yeah, just great positioning. And because of the player move, you had Dicudas cut through, Skordilis slashing into the lane. So when the penetration happens defensively, it's hard to keep track of them. And great football.
Open three is off.
And that's Sharon Sasson. Yes. First time we've seen him in the game.
First touch, first thing he does, throws the three, doesn't get it.
But that's what he does.
Ball movement again, wide open. Look, the three, they don't get the home turn. The young man's on the glass, but it's ripped away. And Nahum is on the break, gets to the basket, nice little finger roll, knocked away. There's some people flying around the ring.
Just love the intensity out here.
Absolutely.
Mark. No, both teams really giving their all. Again, if you didn't look at the scoreboard, you wouldn't call this a 10-point game.
No. Well, I tell you, young Skordilis, both ends of the floor is having an impact. This ΑΡΗΣ team looks really balanced. Nice step through and the foul. And Aaron Miles will go to the free throw line, and Chasson misses a three, picks up a foul. There's a nice second step. He's learned that since he's been in Europe anyway.
Yeah, tell me about it. And the referee could have picked his foul at that time. Actually works in Jerusalem's favour because Hunter slapped him on the back and then Chasson gave him
of rhythm going against it, a little momentum. He's got to, here he is calling the play in the background. He's making sure his team is organised. Miles misses the free throw.
And they're typically a good free throw shooting team here. It's a crucial time in the game, Mark, because ΑΡΗΣ need to concentrate on doing the executing well offensively, but now they're into their bench. They've got to capitalise on the athleticism and the fitness, if you like, of going 10 deep. So defensively, they really got to turn the thumb screws now on Jerusalem.
Well, Jerusalem facing
Hatzivretas
just gets
We've talked about it. There's a couple of touchy fouls called at the beginning of this quarter, Mark, but they're still reaching in, still pushing in, and all of a sudden the referees have stopped blowing the whistles because they can't call every touch foul.
Well, Clark off the screen, turnover. Oh no, yeah, it is a turnover. And there's lots of people pointing in lots of directions. Referees will, and I think they're quite rightly going to change that call, because I think Pujita got a touch on that ball before it went out of bounds. That's good officiating. They've got three referees out there. If you're going to have three, let's use them. And the lead official on the baseline had the best view, so he corrected that call. Good teamwork.
Young Skordilis standing up strong. A weaker man would have just got dunked on there, but he went straight at the ball. That's a good foul to see a young kid committed.
Well, he's
built like a house.
He is, yeah. And he's had an extension put on that house. So, and the other good thing for Jerusalem there is that Thompson was active on the offensive boards, and he's got to find a way to contribute as Hunter gets ready to take the free throws. Last week we didn't stop talking about Dejan Thompson. This week I don't think we've made
slash into the basket, and they're just forcing other guys to take the shot. They're letting Naomi take the shot, letting Hunter take the shot. They don't believe. They said, okay, you beat me. If you score 30 points, I'll go home and so what? But you're not going to do it.
Right, so the basket is fouled.
Yeah, Chasson, one thing he's never been blessed with is foot speed.
Chasson was injured last week. He played at the weekend. It's obviously not really fully game sharp yet, perhaps.
Yeah, but Mark, his game is not athletic deep. That number 7 in his way is, oh, there's 2 free throws coming here.
He's been around the houses, been around the block at Hatzivretas.
Well, Panathinaikos, so you know, anytime you can put that green on your CV, you know you've got a quality player there. And he's been around for a long time. And as I said, this ΑΡΗΣ team, we keep going on about it, was built for the EuroLeague. So they should be, and we should be witnessing one of the top 4 teams in the EuroCup this season.
And it's been their up-tempo. They've kept the level and they've kept the pace of their game, and it's Jerusalem who's struggled to maintain that in this second quarter. The crowd are enjoying this, and once a crowd here starts enjoying the game, it could be a big party time here in Thessalonica. There's a replay of Betts. And while he was in the game, as we said at the beginning, man, he's the foundation that built this game, this performance on.
Yeah, and he's established the rhythm for the game as well. Once you've got the big fella established, then it makes it easier for all the other guys to interact and to perform, and even the young fella gets in on the action as well with the easy layup.
Well, there's the points, and there's if you're a British basketball fan, seeing Andy Betts lead the ARΗS scorers is a nice sign. Well, there's the summary of the scorers, as we were saying, Martin, and you mentioned it all night. Look at the numbers for ARÍS. Lots of people making contributions.
Yeah, nice balance across the team. Team effort on the score sheet in terms of points, but also balanced in rebounding as well. Okay, Accusers have got 4 defensive rebounds, but nobody else has got over 2, which means they're gang rebounding. They're all on the. I was just about to say defensively, as you see that no score in 5 minutes for Haapoel. They've got to, and again, look, this defense extended right out on the floor.
Well, they're letting Hunter catch it wherever he wants when he's outside the three-point line. Thompson puts it on the floor, pass. Great defensive effort. They just were strong. They held their space, and they forced Hunter just to throw up a weak shot over the top of the defense, and they're still.
If you see that back replay, look at him leaning back, and Hunter leaning away, but he's got to take it up. That's one of those times you'd say, hit him in the face with the ball, make him back up. The referee was going to give you the foul, but that's just solid man defense, I call it. Not man-to-man, man defense.
Well, this Pinckney hasn't been in the game for a while, and it's
2 fouls he got early on.
And they're taking the risk now of putting him back, because they do need this scoreboard to get ticking over again before half-time. They don't need many. If they just pick up 4 to 6 points in the last part of this quarter, they'll still think they're getting back in the game. But ARÍS are just looking like a very strong unit. They, as Martin said, have the best description of it. Their defense is extended. They're wearing down Haapoel in this second quarter. But here's Naomi. He's got to get the team organized. They've got to decide the shot they really would like to get. This man does need the ball. Simmons puts it on the floor, pulls up. No, he doesn't. Great penetration. Hesitation, just waited for space, worked his way to the glass, and they needed those 2 points more than anything.
One word for that man: smooth. Oof. So easy and silky going to the cup. Great patience. Thing is, it's one-on-one. He's great creating his own shot.
Comes up with a steal. Does Thompson? No, he doesn't. But great, that's better. They score and they're in passing lanes.
Yeah, bad pass there. That's one which I can see you as a coach screaming about. Coast one side of the court to the other, below the three-point line. It's a risky pass in any standard of basketball.
Well, I think they're asking now about the reset on the clock, and they're quite right, there shouldn't have been. There's no way that Thompson ever had control of that basketball. I think the referee's signaling he wants 13 seconds set on the shot clock. That's always a technical problem, but the clock hasn't been reset yet.
And as physical as this game's been, Mark, you have to give a shout out, as we always do, to the referees who've done an excellent job of letting the game stay in the flow, because this is the kind of game that could easily get out of control. So congratulations to the officials so far. Let's hope that's not the commentator's curse.
Well, I'm sure it won't be. These three look like they're working as a team. It's as important to be a team of officials as it is a team of players. Back, he puts on foot, gets to the basket. Great move, great finish. Back-to-back good plays. You score, you get a stop, you get a score, you start to eat into the lead. And again, the
big bet's coming back in the game now, just for that little run, the last 2 minutes, the half, try and get rhythm established again. And that time it was Clark who was a bit lame on the defense, and Naomi's being made to look a little like an offensive superstar this evening.
There's some stats here, and both teams shooting the ball over 50%, 65% for ARÍS, and a lot of those are down to Andy Betts and getting the ball to the inside. But I love when you got double-digit assists. Yeah,
10 assists versus 4 is a big thing. And also aggression going to the basket. That's where the free throw count disparity comes. 12 free throws for ARÍS, only 4 for Jerusalem. Jerusalem relying on mid-range jump shots and three-pointers, not going for the layups. And there's a sign of the beef in the paint.
Well, if he's not careful, he could be back up to Andy Betts if he carries on and gets in there.
Andy Betts will never look like that.
No, I never look like that.
I look like that now, but people say I look like that in my best days.
Well, that boy would eat up some space in the keyway anyway. He might not be 7 feet, but he's possibly 7 feet wide. But 2 seconds of fame on the TV. Hey, you've got to love these guys as well. What a great day out for the Hapoel fans.
And it's funny, you know, because ARΗS would have known, right, it's a Jerusalem team coming here. How many tickets you need? We need 1,000. Okay, fine. They'll give them the dirtiest, cheap seats way up in the gods, but they'll keep challenging the whole night long. 2 incredibly passionate sets of fans tonight.
Clark kicks to the corner, wide open for 3. That you know, Coach Casares drew that up. And he knew he wanted to go to a veteran.
That's the 5th 3-pointer from that spot they've shot in the half, Mark. They execute that play time after time.
Pinckney off the glass, having an impact back in the game. Nice little play. And they're 12 down, but they've scored 6 points. Their last 3 possessions they've scored. Bit of momentum for Hapoel going into the half-time break, and that'll be important to them.
ARÍS, take a look at their 3-guard set here. They've got Kakuzis and Dikudis in the middle.
Kakuzis puts it on the floor. Martin kicks. Oh no, not again. And Savenis just about gets it away. Doesn't get the drop. Oh, the Dikudis goes up, gets the 2, and wow.
Footwork again, Mark.
Absolutely. Oh, I'd like to see that again.
Well, that is a foul, but that's just Thompson's sheer athleticism. Naimi, great recognition there. Hopefully you see that play again. He's 10 seconds on the clock. You would say, oh, look, hold it, let's just get a good last shot. But look at that. Recognises that the athlete, that's a vet foul there, so let's just make sure you don't get 2 easy ones now, which means even if he scores both free throws, you got 7-8 seconds left to get a good shot to end the half.
An interesting point. We always try and talk a little bit of coaching and stuff here for any young players watching, but Thompson got ahead of the defense then and just stopped. So he gave Naimi a lot of space to throw that pass into, almost overthrew it, but...
and a chance for him to get his points on the board. You know, this is a guy, he's averaging 14, 15 points. He had 18 points last week. He was a top-rated player, 11 boards. So far, he's got no points, and he hasn't even got a rebound yet. You know, this is a big hole to fill.
Gotta make this, does make this. Gets his first point. That'll give him something to be positive about in that locker room. 48-35. Well, you said they wanted the game in the 70s. We've got a 100-point game on our hands here.
Well, they wanted the 70s for both teams, not just for them.
Well, here is have a 48-35 lead. Jerusalem have been good. They've not been bad at all, but ARÍS have just put on a great demonstration. And if this is what ARÍS have in this competition, Martin, they are going to be a real threat.
Yeah, you can see ARÍS certainly have got the depth and the power. There's a few cracks in their system. They're by no means unbeatable. Jerusalem, great effort in the first half. They've got to slow down things down in the second half.
Well, we're going to take the break here during half-time. It's 48-35. Come back for the second half here from Thessalonica. Well, welcome back to the Palais des Sports. I don't have to say these fans didn't sit down the whole half-time. Even the Jerusalem fans joined in. It was almost a party atmosphere. Both sets of fans hoping that their team can come up with the win that will really establish themselves as one of the favourites to win this group. The local TV doing some interviews on the sidelines here, but there's been such an atmosphere the whole way through that the crowd, they didn't even stop for breath at half-time, Martin. The fortunate thing is that the players did.
Yeah, players got a 15-minute break.
I'm not sure if...
Great intensity, and the fans will be on their feet the whole night. And you better believe if ARÍS stay in front, the noise will only get more intense. If Jerusalem come back, it'll get more intense. Just a great atmosphere. Come one, come all. As we mentioned before, no respect for the ban on indoor smoking there. But... I mean, that's one of the things you notice when you come to this, the Alexandria Palace. You walk in the gym, there's a cloud of smoke, and there's a real throwback sort of stadium. And, you know, ARÍS have played really well in the first half. You know, there's no question from where I'm going to shout out for the best player of the game so far, Andy Betts. But, you know, this crowd, great intensity. The fans stay involved the entire night.
Well, they're definitely going to stay, because as we said when we came back, they were on their feet the whole half. The good news, as we said, with the players had a blow because ΑΡΗΣ just kept a pace up in that first half, and that was the reason they eked out that lead in the second half. They were relentless play.
Maintain their tempo, and hats off to the coach there, Fortis Katsikaris. He's kept the team to maintain their intensity offensively and particularly defensively, because even they gave 22 points in the first quarter, but they maintained, and as you can see, 13 in the second. They've got this game exactly where they want it to be.
ΑΡΗΣ lead it 48-35 here in Thessalonica. The home fans want and demand a win that will move them to 2-0 in this EuroCup group. In their way, though, is Hάποελ Jerusalem, who had that drop in the second quarter, scoring only 13 points. But as we saw last week, at points in a game, Jerusalem anonymous in that first half. Those guys quick in the open floor. They have got to get themselves going. If they can get themselves going, this is only a 13-point margin. That can disappear in an instant against a team like Jerusalem. But they're not only playing 5 guys in yellow shirts, they're playing this whole gym. This is one of the hotbeds of European basketball. These guys are passionate. But Jerusalem are on defense here, and this is where it's got to start for them. As ΑΡΗΣ, with de'Kudis still in the game, and Betts in the game, so they've gone with a nice big lineup. Oh, start with a turn-up, just the start.
Yeah, misunderstanding there. de'Kudis and Kakousis berating each other with the hand gestures that you only see in Greece, which mean everything. They mean I love you, I hate you, all in the same sentence. Little scrappy start, but you've got to forgive both teams to be slow at the beginning of this, because the first 20 minutes was so incredibly high-paced.
So as penetrates, gets the shot. Oh, they're going to wipe that off for the charge.
Nice step in there by Aaron Miles.
Well, it's Simmons is going to, you know, he lost his coolness there and his smoothness. A little bit of traffic, and Miles stepped in and took the charge. So this quick lineup worked in that second quarter. Is that why you think that they've left Betts on the bench?
No, well, I think they need to give him an extended blow. But I think that they started the first game last week with 3 guards. And, you know, he's got to look at all different lineups, still trying to find his feet. Don't forget, Katsikaris came in partway through the season. Andrea Masson was fired about 4 weeks into this season. So this team in this new setup still getting rhythm. And as I said, I spoke to Andy Betts today, and he said they're really comfortable with the new coaching environment. They're really coming together well, and they've got great aspirations this competition. They expect to qualify for the EuroLeague, and the only way you can do that from this tournament is to win. So there's no question about how important this game is.
Well, Dixon, immediate impact, stroked the 2 down the other end, got his hands involved there, knocked it away, and calls the turnover. de'Kudis on the inside, gets people in the air, swarming defense that time. Simmons on the break is fouled, and is quite rightly called unsportsmanlike. I like that call. I know Martin talked to where, but Kakousis just grabbed him and held on.
Over half court. Once you get over half court, you can forget it. All bets are. It's interesting though, Simmons was still had confidence he's going to make that shot. And Kakousis looked at the referee and say, hey, this is Greece. We always make this foul. Well, you can't make that intentional. And that's why Katsikaris is saying, hey, come on. What country are you in here? Look at the stamp in your passport.
All right, with referees talking again, it'll be interesting to see, because there were other players behind him. So it wasn't exactly the last line of the last defensive player. So that in many ways, Kakousis has a valid argument, but I'm still with the official.
Which, even if he changes his mind?
Well, yeah, he's given 2 shots in possession. I'm still with the official, because it was an unbasketball-like action. There was no physical attempt to play the basketball. It was purely to stop. Now, Kakousis, it's not just about this call now. It's more about, look, don't call me for another one of those, because this is why I'm doing it.
Don't forget where you are. Don't forget which national team I've played for. You know, there's a bit of politicking going on there between the players and the referees, and they're saying, look, we're playing hard. I fouled him. It was a fair foul, but I didn't want him to get hurt. That's the line he's going with.
Simmons going to make both. That'll really be a help. Short on the second.
You've got to stop doing that to these players.
I'm not going to comment on their ability from the free throw, because Simmons is like a 90+% free throw shooter. That's his one for the game.
And you've only got to miss 2 to get a sub-90. You know how much bonus money he gets for being plus 90%? You'll never be welcome in their gym again.
Well, don't tell him.
Going. His feet were set, but he'd shot that ball before he even caught it.
Miles turns the corner. beautiful penetration, knocked away by Thompson, who's trying to get himself at the defensive end, but
so that there's not much help. So the screen and roll, the big guy's not stepping out so far, and Naimi's showing frustration. But look at that, good screen by Dikudis, no help. Naimi one-on-one, you're expecting your big man to come over and help out there. Thompson came in at the last breath to try and block the shot. And just to remind the Jerusalem team of how we got here so far, they brought back Andy Betts.
He just strides into the game, the presence of Andy Betts.
It's funny, I asked him the question today about what he preferred to get play against, young jumping jacks or a big veteran 7-footer. And he said he preferred a 7-footer, but everything going my way, especially when we're up by 15.
Up by 15, and he has 10 personal already. Naomi comes off the screen. Shashan steps out on the pick and pop. Naomi forces one. Shashan gets the offensive board almost. Keep it alive. And there again, people just going after the ball. Dixon kicks it to the corner. Kakougas thinks about it. That's why ΑΡΗΣ are playing well here. They could have quite easily pulled the trigger early, but they're trying to work to get a better option. Miles thinks about it. Pulls it back out. We're underneath 10 here on the shot clock, down to 4. Dixon's going to put this up. Oh, he kicks it off. They're going to get underneath it, and there's no time on the shot clock at all.
Trying to get a bit too pretty there. I was about to say, Dixon's left, ball's in the right hands. He's got to go. He's got to go.
Absolutely.
And create his own shot. If that had been to win the game, you better believe he wouldn't have thought about power.
Well, this game isn't over. If they want to start getting pretty too quickly here. We keep saying this, but Hapol can score points in a hurry. A lot, but when you've got Simmons in your team, you can score points.
Yeah, you know Simmons, and Naimi's in a bit of a rhythm as well. Shassan, we know, is a great shooter of the basketball. Thompson, it's a negative that he's only got 1 point so far, but you know he's going to get 15. So you've got 14 points to come from him, you expect. So the game's by no means done. It's just that ΑΡΗΣ are in such control on the defensive end.
And we often say momentum is a big thing, and if you've got it, you've got to keep it.
Yeah.
And if ΑΡΗΣ start messing around too much here, Jerusalem's the sort of team that could really come back in a hurry. Here's Naomi, gets it back. Shassan in the game. He's got points that he's capable of knocking down. He shoots nets for 3. Well, as we were...
But, if he gets open behind that three-point line, he's so long as well. It's difficult to guard him. And it was great communication by the ΑΡΗΣ defender, just poor recovery off the screen.
Dixon steps back, knocks the long 2 down.
Well, somebody else who's not bad off the screen is Juan Dixon.
How much quality was in that? Kicks it, knocked away. Dixon tries to get him off. Pinckney settles for the 3.
That's a bad shot for him.
And there's the difference. Down the other end, ＡRΗΣ passed up those open shots that weren't the best shots for the player that had the ball. Nice hesitation. Ooh, beautiful by Miles there on a little reverse, little layup.
And great, congratulations Andy Betts for this rock-solid screen he laid on Trey Simmons then. Miles finished the play with style, but Betts sets the screen. And I was going to say, when he came back in, I wouldn't be surprised if Andy doesn't shoot again tonight. He's done his work offensively. Now it's to get his teammates involved, set screens, rebound, and let the jumping jacks get all the plaudits.
Richardson shot the 3 push, but Kakougas kept enough presence in there so Shashan couldn't control it and knocked it out of bounds. There's the replay of Miles on the reverse layup.
Great finish, but you know what? Poor defense there. You can't let him go baseline. Force him onto his left hand, onto his weaker hand, and make him shoot a tough shot. That was an easy right hand reverse layup. We all practiced that. Too
easy.
Wow.
Kakougas just slashed to the basket. No defense, gets a layup. If Jerusalem don't start getting their points going soon, well, it could be a long fourth quarter. Now he penetrates, finds Jida, who's back in the game, and strokes a 3 straight away. And he's been only in flashes, Jida, since he's come into the game.
Yeah, he's not seen enough of the ball. I'm surprised Coach Goodis had to hand him on the floor a bit longer, but he's trying to get his main studs involved.
Oh, Betts in the block. Thinks about it, gets into Kakougas. Richardson thinks about the 3. Betts repositions and doesn't.
It was a gimme shot, so he's got to take it and just get it a little bit higher, soft on the glass, and just let the ball do the work.
Well, Miles picks up his 2nd foul. It's a 15-point game. And if it's 15, there's a chance to get it to 10. And that's what Jerusalem will be working to do in this third quarter. Give themselves a chance in the fourth quarter. However good ΑΡΗΣ have been, they get sloppy. Jerusalem can punish them as Clark checks back in for Miles. Still think that man there, Naomi's got a big say in this game. He's got to start organising things. Shashan puts it on the floor. Nice little pass. And we've got to travel as Kokia travels on the way to the basket. And he'll sit down. Oh no, he needs a little bit. No, that's his gum shield. Didn't realise Andy Betts was back in the game, perhaps. Needs to look after himself, look after those good looks.
I'll tell you one interesting call so far, Mark. Remember, Jerusalem started the game with Brandon Hunter, who's playing big, aggressive play third quarter, but didn't play much in the second after playing all the first.
Now Betts again seals. Nice help by Shashan, who came over from the weak side. Naomi's just about recovered it. Should finish. Does not finish. Great work on the glass by Simmons. Naomi was out of bed to tell him about it anyway. Here's Dixon off that screen. Well, we've got two of the smoothest players in the EuroCup. Betts, great hands. Well, when big men have got hands like Andy Betts, pass wasn't the best pass in the world, but he managed to control it. Ekes it out again to 17. Nice pass, easy finish down the middle, and Kokia getting up to 6-8 points. Done a great job by his standards in terms of points, closes it to 15. And Hapol have stemmed the tide here. They're maintaining a 15-point deficit. They're just got to start eating into that. Dixon. Betts is just a monster in there.
Wow,
knocks away again. Should have surely got the call. Gita tries to finish off the glass, does.
Timeout might come soon from Coach Katsikaris, because they've gone into a bit of a lull. You know, they're walking the ball up and down the court. They can't use fatigue as an excuse, because we said 10 players have played significant minutes so far. Mentally, they're getting sloppy.
Here we go. It's Gita.
Coaches get infuriated, and there's the horn. Mark, sure enough, Crockett, you know what? We should be commentators. We should be coaches.
He's on a bigger salary than you and I.
I'll tell you what, the thing I would never like about being coaches, it's easy when you got in the commentator's booth, but when you're on the sideline, your job relies on the decisions that you make. And it relies on the guys that are around you implementing what you're asking to do. And so far, for 2.5 quarters, they have done, but they've gone to sleep in the last few minutes. And Gita, that's an interesting shot to finish off on the break, but he's ignited Jerusalem. Well, we mentioned it earlier on, Mark. You know, he's been picked up from Malaga in Spain. He's come across, been playing in the EuroLeague, so he's got experience at the highest level, and he's in a comfort zone. He's obviously really comfortable in this system here in Jerusalem. He's got a bit of freedom, a chance to shine. You know, when you're playing in the EuroLeague, one mistake is amplified 1,000 times. Here he can make his mistakes, but he's playing really well, really confidently, and he's going to play extra minutes, and I think he could play a big role in the rest of this game.
Well, 59-48, it's been all Jerusalem. 9-2 in the last minute 40. I mean, they've got some options there. As you said, Hunter hasn't been in the game for a while. Pinckney's not really been a factor. It's been the guards and the defense. Chasson with his quick hands coming up with a few steals. This crowd won't let up, but I don't think Jerusalem are either. They're gonna, if they can get it under 10, could be really interesting.
This game, as I said, this game's by no means done. Even when they were down by 20, ΑΡΗΣ have gone a bit overconfident here, and you can see that you know, defensively, ΑΡΗΣ have gone to sleep a little bit, but I think it's because the offense production's gone down. Just a soft defense from Jerusalem now, protecting the basket with the 2-3 zones. You can see ΑΡΗΣ have just got to focus, and that's what the timeout was for. And we'll see if Coach Katsikaris rallied his troops appropriately. A nice change up in the defense there by Coach Goodis in that timeout. And look at Gita fight.
Talked about momentum. They were on a high. They were playing with energy and getting down the floor. Now they're standing around, and it's tough to get that momentum back when it goes. Well, this possession could take it into single digits. And it's Naomi. Who you want with a basketball? Chasson, whoa, way outside for three, is off. Not sure if that's the best option Jerusalem could have come up with, but a three-pointer from Chasson is not a bad shot, but that was NBA range and more. And ΑΡΗΣ, Betts is a handful still on the inside. He's still trying to seal. There's the screen against the top of the zone. Good defense again here. Hekukis for a long three. He's done that. Betts tries to keep it alive. Team defensive rebound by Jerusalem. A second chance to get it into single digits. Gita pulls up for two. is off. Great work on the glass by Chasson and Coquier. Simmons to the glass, gets the 2, and it's down to 9.
Yeah, this, they've just continued in a rhythm. They're playing tough. ΑΡΗΣ have peaked, and I think Jerusalem feel, well, you've given us your best shot. We're still in there, so let's go.
Betts he's scared. He's making so much space for himself underneath, but they've got out of the habit of giving him the ball. Those couple of steals from those passes have they've turned it down. Dixon settles for a huge 3. Kukis goes up. He is that workhorse. He's made a career doing that. Absolute career doing that. Things aren't offensive player on the ΑΡΗΣ team wide open. Gita tries to answer with a 3. Coquier is playing way above himself. Tremendous performance. Chasson just doesn't care for 3.
And that's a goal away from player movement. They're moving the ball okay, but they're not getting the players slicing and cutting like they did in the first half, and it makes it much easier to guard the opportunity.
Well, Coquier picks up his 3rd foul.
Well, what else could he do? Watch position. Look at Andy's feet. Look at that. Sealed him in the paint. All the defender can do is just try and pull him out of the way.
Well, it's...
Who says British basketball can't turn out great players? Andy Betts is certainly one of the rocks of European basketball. He may not have all the flash and the gilt and the edge, you know, but he certainly does all.
Should be proud of the work they did with him as a youngster. There's the mid-range 2, he's no good. Jerusalem Chasson will finish the 3rd quarter with the basketball, and that
he's mid-range jump shooter. But great performance, great comeback there. But you know, this game is on a knife edge. It could go either way, Mark. This is by no means finished.
Well, if you want to find out which way this game is going to go and and who is going to establish themselves, be back after this short commercial break for the 4th quarter. And welcome back for the 4th quarter here in Thessalonica. ΑΡΗΣ Thessalonica leads 64-53 as a basket. Again, that's the first half for ΑΡΗΣ. 3 yellow shirts down the floor quickly.
Yeah, and starts from intense defense. Intensity on the defensive end creates a steal, a 3-on-2 for us. Touchy coach is getting upset about that, but they've drawn the foul. Hadjibreit has a chance to get the 2 the easy way.
And he is a very, very good free throw shooter, and I'm not going to curse him because he's too good for that.
Yeah, you've done that again.
Hey, if they miss some, Jerusalem get further back in this game.
Every time you say someone's a great free throw shooter, somebody else in the stands takes his shirt off. You know that?
No, he is a good free throw shooter. There you go. Nothing but string on both of those. So, sub there as Naomi steps down. And, well, is this Dijon Thompson time? Well, it should be, because he's been absolutely anonymous in this game.
Well, they put the clamps on him. 1 point in 20 minutes. Just great defensive job.
Spread floor here by Jerusalem. Pugita looking to isolate. He's just too quick. That's a great move. And Clark struggled with that matchup from the minute they called that play.
Yeah, Kiki Clark's got to do a better job than that. He must realise that Gita's going to try and drive him to the basket. Gita's not a pull-up jump shooter, so how'd you get blown past? On his right hand, force him to go left. I never cease to be amazed when you can't just use a simple brain play and say, look, send him left, and look, see the ball.
Simmons, what a speed though, but as you say, no one helped.
Well, Kiki Clark was trying to guard the basket with his back.
That's a tough ask, and they've got it back to 11. And there's this ball movement. That's what we saw in the first part of the game. The Kudus in the block, guarded by Chasson. Nice ball movement again, but they're down deep in the shot clock now. There's only 4 seconds on it. They're going to have to fight this. Hadjibreit going to have to pull up. Does. Oh, veteran play.
Well, talk about hanging in there, using every 10th of the final seconds to get that shot off. And good ball movement, poor player movement. They're just looking a bit foot weary on offense, but they've still got defensive intensity, which will carry them a long way.
Thompson got to get himself involved in the game, get on the glass or something. Simmons, tough looking shot. Oh my word.
Wow, that was so good. The ball almost went to the basket 2 times.
Should give him 6 for that one.
Well, just a smooth player, just really comfortable in finding what he does well. Doesn't extend himself, takes shots he's comfortable making.
Well, he was double teamed then and he made it anyway.
Yeah, but he knew the shot was good for him.
Clark kicks it to Kikukis. He'll shoot. No, great decision. The Kudus got to go up. He's fouled. but you've got to love the way this ΑΡΗΣ team share the basketball.
Yeah, they spread the floor well, and Koukoudis, and he knows his shots up tonight. I think he's over. He made a couple of layups, and there Koukoudis gets position, and there's no option but to foul. And again, great footwork by the big man in the paint.
Well, we said this last week, the one real weakness it looks like this Jerusalem team have, they have no real inside presence, do they? They're getting burnt. They got burnt at that at the start of the game.
As I said, you can't coach 7 feet tall, and Jimmy Koukoudis, 6'9", 6'10", good, strong athlete. They know how to play inside there, and they use their bodies particularly well.
It's 69-58, but Jerusalem with a chance again to get it under 10. Such a psychological barrier. Jeter gets it to Simmons. That's a good call by the official. Good execution by Jerusalem. They got it to the man who can create, and Simmons is fouled by Miles.
And what ΑΡΗΣ don't have is anybody that can hold Simmons one-on-one. So they're going to have to start getting back to giving more help on him. Maybe double teaming him when he puts the ball on the floor, try and get him to give it up, and get other players to beat them, which is what they did in the first half.
Well, here's Thompson. We're still waiting for him. We're still waiting for him to start to get to play. Well, he had a layup there, but he made a better pass. Nice pass. Thompson making contributions, not with points. Nice cut, nice pass. And Cokia gets himself into his probably. 69-60. Stop this time would make life very, very interesting here. ΑΡΗΣ trying to go inside this time again. Koukoudis made a nice cut, didn't get the ball. Hatzirelis kicks it. Huge three is off from Clark, and Paul.
Side, Thompson and Simmons are just having their way at ease in the paint.
Well, when teams put this much pressure on the ball, if you can break them down, it is hard to help. And the last few times down the floor, Hapoel Jerusalem have done an excellent job of exploiting space. They've penetrated past, got beyond the defense, and the help has been late. And well, it's an 8-point game now, and you can hear the crowd getting a little bit worried. If that gets across to the ΑΡΗΣ team, this could be an amazing fourth quarter here. And here's Clark. Out
yeah, he's done the workhorse work, but there, Koukoudis, great position, offensive rebound, and there, Cocky with a little push in the back, nothing else he could do. And you're right, Mark, if he fouls out, that could be game over for Jerusalem.
Someone's going to come off that Jerusalem bench who hasn't played well tonight and come up with a performance. Cocky at Jerusalem.
And, you know, the referee's starting to come into play. A lot of fouls called. This is fatigue starting to make a factor now.
Well, that's the 4th team foul. And they're having problems containing the penetration. Well, we've talked about Jerusalem not shooting enough free throws. Well, they could almost win this from the free throw line unless ΑΡΗΣ do a better job guarding that penetration. And Pinckney, well, if people are getting tired, he could be a factor because he is a live wire on the glass. As 6:28, so much time in the game, 9-point game. Niemi comes off Pinckney's screen, who rolls to the basket, must finish. Oh, he's got to finish.
Yeah, throw it down, big fella. Got to make that and one. Hatzirelis, yeah, he committed the foul, but Pinckney's got to be able to adjust and finish it with his left hand.
Whatever he does, he's got to finish. This is points. You know, that's a good foul by Hatzirelis, as we said, but wow, you know, it's just got to finish that now. He's got to step to the line and make 2. And, you know, the pressure's going to start to build.
Yeah, it is. And see, Coach Katsikaris is asking the question of some of his star players, Richardson coming back in the game now. He's going to stay with his 2 big Greek boys up front, Koukoudis and Koukoudis. That's okay. But now you've got guys like Richardson's got to step up. Dixon's had a bit of a so-so game tonight. For me, Kiki Clark has been the weak link in that backcourt. Yep. So this is why Richardson's come in now. Try and slow Jeter down.
Here's Pinckney looking to make both, and he's off. Well, 8-point game. 6 minutes of the 4th quarter to go. ΑΡΗΣ under pressure now from this Hapoel team. Both teams looking like good, strong contenders in this EuroCup now. Clark backs it out. Well, there's Koukoudis, who's trying to literally single-handedly carry his team home, and that 3 was off. Here's Naomi. Naomi's looking inside, decides not to give it to Pinckney, who's not really giving him a target. Koukoudis has always got ahead of him. Kick to
Jeter now. He's got to step up and just play a bit tougher.
This is where a team's got to stay with what works, because the tempo was what was doing this for ΑΡΗΣ, and Chazon's got to get his hand up. He doesn't need a technical now. Just take the foul.
They've got to get the cuts to the basket, a bit more player movement, which I've been talking about a lot tonight, even against this zone, in fact, especially against this zone. Another
good decision by the referee, though. It was just emotion from Chasson. As long as he stopped, the referee wasn't going to get crazy with a quick tee or anything. Dixon puts it on the floor, slide him the ball, see if we can get him going, and if you're a Jerusalem fan here. But ΑΡΗΣ hanging on by the skin of their teeth almost at the moment. They only lead by 5. They've not looked good the last few possessions. Sees, backs it out. Just get into 10 seconds on the shot clock. Naomi, I think he's going to shoot it. He does. And that's off. Both teams now just settling for jump shots. Oh, that should be a Giroux.
Oh, Jeremy Richardson there, a bit lackadaisical going after that loose ball. You've got to be a bit hungrier than that, Sunshine. I'll tell you, if I'm Coach Katsikaris, I'm noticing that. There, Pinckney knocks the ball, it comes off the leg. Oh, it didn't actually go out of bounds. Very fast now.
That's not where Andy Betts needs the basketball. Now he's got a chance to run, and that's knocked away. They had a 3-on-1 there. And you can see Dixon, that's what the team need. They need that intensity.
And notice how the second man back on defense was the biggest slowest guy on the floor. There's a problem in the ΑΡΗΣ defense. Their intensity has dropped right down. They need to get more aggressive and focus on winning this game.
Well, this is a nice timeout here for Hapol, because this sets them up for the end of the game. You know, they've got a bit of momentum, they're in the game, they have the ball on the end line. He's got to go to one of his banker out-of-bounds plays now to get a shot he wants.
Absolutely, Mark. And don't forget, this goes beyond just winning and losing this game, because the points aggregate. Now you win. If you lose this game by 5 points away from home, Jerusalem will fancy their chances to get within 5 of ΑΡΗΣ at home, which could be the difference between getting to the top 2 and qualifying for the next round and going home early.
Well, the other thing, just to put the context around that, Zadar won.
There's a lot of chess moves being made by the coaches here, but I think Jerusalem, they've got to be really pleased with the fact, because they were down and out, down by 20. They've just chipped away at the game. Some guys here that don't recognize the value of the contract they've got.
Right, out of bounds here, get it in. Thompson. Well, he's got Kakioukis, who's on the
great position by the big fella there, and great recognition to make the pass to him in the right place. Look at that. Thompson can't do anything with him there, and they just take it in turns to foul him. Now he's got to step up, make the free throws. Important.
Say he's a great free throw shooter or whatever he is. Andy Betts has earned these 2.
All I say is he's a veteran.
He's a veteran. Well, it's 71-66. Every single point counts now. The sharp end of the game. Andy Betts on the free throw line. The guy's done a great job, because Gudis has kept his team positive throughout this whole game. They've, as we said, trailed by 20. Now they've got a chance to win a game on the road in ΑΡΗΣ. Betts makes the second of his free throws. 72-66. 6-point game. 3.5 minutes to go. Jerusalem proved they are a contender in this group, whatever happens. Jida on the dribble, pulls up, strokes one, and that's the trouble. They've got people in this team who can create for themselves, and there was a smile from Jida there. He's loving this. 72-69. ΑΡΗΣ have got to come out their shelled. Oh, there's a foul on Pinckney.
They could rely on their defense, which the scoreboard's saying they can't at the moment. If you could, they should just be effective, just pound the ball into the paint for the rest of the game, because Jerusalem's got no answer for the big 7-footer with a broken nail.
Well, he'll be in the old manicure place tomorrow night. They'll sort that out for him. Here he is. He's got to make these now. His team need him to be good. He just got too deep. He stayed with a play. Great play. Naomi penetrates. Give it to Thompson. He hasn't scored all game. Just off with a nice pass. Naomi should score. 1-point game. 72-71. 2:30 in the game to go. Wow. EuroCup basketball here on Eurosport 2.
Anybody who went home at half-time, you've missed a hell of a game.
Wow, put this one down. This could go. I don't know where this one's going to go. We talked about it before the game. ΑΡΗΣ have lost their way completely. Dixon tries to create one. That's knocked away. That's 2. Well, they rely. He makes the 2. Jida has called
basket though. You've got to like Jerusalem right now.
74-71. Jerusalem with a huge opportunity to pull one out the bag on the road. Naomi saw the gap, gets there. That should be out.
Defense by ΑΡΗΣ, and Talk about spirit, heart, all the intangibles that don't come into play on a scouting report or on a stat sheet or when you watch a player play on a videotape. This team here, Jerusalem, tough as nails, and that's the lamest foul you'll ever see under his belt.
Well, we big up this guy, Naomi, as a potential sort of leader of his team. Well, he just led his team with that decision.
Well, not potential, Mark. He's the finished article already. He's showing that.
This ties the game up. Extra three-point play. Does he complete it? Does he make it 74-74? New game here with 2 minutes. Well, if you're on the road and you come to somewhere like Thessalonica, if someone said, right, 2 minutes, we're going to play it even, you'd bite someone's hand up for it. And they've got the momentum going into this. Miles. They're not moving. Everything's static.
Well, we don't know who. There's nobody out there calling the shots for this team, and that's why I say Jerusalem's got to be in complete confidence at the moment.
Richardson deep in the corner. Oh! Ho, ho. Timeout, Jerusalem. Wow. Richardson has been so quiet in the second half. He loves that baseline jump shot. 77-74. Jerusalem timeout.
Well, cometh the hour, cometh the man, and Jeremy Richardson, who's had a very quiet second half, steps up with the huge jump shot.
Well, we talked about what they went to, what they knew. Well, it still wasn't great, but the only thing they can hang on to, Martin, in that last shot is that they get that shot from the corner, and they've been making a lot of them.
Well, they've shot that ball a lot. And they had numbers on the glass as well, so it may look like a bad shot, but there are three guys trying to challenge that shot. Even if he'd missed, they should have got the rebound, but wow, that's a big crunchy shot to make there, and now the pressure's right back on Jerusalem. Although I'll say this, I wouldn't be that worried if I was Coach Goodis, because my team's making shots. We're not having problems scoring now. We just got to play defense out the rest of the way. We could win this game.
Well, there's the scorers, and both teams have got, you know, contributions from everyone. 5 players from ARΗS in double figures. But at the other end, 5 guys have made big contributions for Jerusalem. The one guy who's missing has been Dijon Thompson.
But he's made up for it in other ways. He's had some assists. He's played tough defense. He's been aggressive, been a floor leader.
Wow, here we go. 77-74. 1 minute 30 to go. This is only week 2 of this competition. Here's Jeter. Thompson comes off the screen. Cokier, who's been phenomenal all night, gives it back to Jeter. Kicks. Naomi, under 10 on the shot clock, coming up. 7 seconds on the shot clock. Get a good shot. You've got to get a shot. Naomi penetrates, kicks inside. Oh! And Cokier, well, the guy performance, he has been everywhere. Yuri Cokier will now go to the free throw line to get his team within 1.
Well, just great execution, great decision by Naomi there, recognizing Cokier is on his own under the basket. And Juan Dixon again, weakness on the defensive end. He's, you know, all the championships on his resume, you would think he'd be able to seal off that position at this point in the game, and Cokier makes it free throw. And look at that, the players on this Jerusalem team, they've got confidence. As long as they keep getting shots, they can still win this game. They fancy their chances to stop ARÍS next time down the floor.
It came off of Thompson.
Yeah, and he's berating the referee. He thinks he may have had that ball there, and I wouldn't mind. Well, I might support him in that look, as he's over the back a little bit, and well,
he's underneath, and he's.
Well, last man's hand was Deku. There's no question about that.
Last minute, 77-75. ARÍS. Naomi Garden-Dixon kicks. Miles. Now he's got to make a good decision. Here's the ball screen. Kikukas. Miles with the long 2 is off. That's not the best decision we've seen all night. Naomi's controlling the ball. She sends Jeter away. It'll be interesting. 30 seconds to go here. 1 possession each. ARÍS looking for the game-winning shot. Dixon would probably take it. Takes a long 3. Oh my word! And we've got a whistle. We've got a timeout. Did he have his toe on the line, or have they given him 3?
I think that's 3 all the way.
I think it's a 3. Nothing at all. They didn't even touch the string.
That's what he does. You know, it's the big shots he makes. And he stunk the court up the whole second half. But then there you go, crunch time. Somebody to make the one jump shot to win it, and who steps up and does it? Juan Dixon.
Well, both teams now are in that situation, Martin. Both teams are in the bonus. You know, what's the deal here for ΑΡΗΣ? Do they foul him, send him to the line? I know you hate that scenario.
I hate it.
Trust your defense.
I know, Fortis, they're going to foul.
And if they foul them, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm with you. I think that they'll come down the floor, they'll foul after a little while, send them to the line, they'll only put them one down, force Jerusalem to make the play the other way, they're going to foul again. You know, this possession, there's probably going to be about 4 possessions of this game now.
Could easily be, although, and you know, I'm from the school of saying, look, let's just play one tough defensive set. The numbers are actually stacked in our favour. You know, we've been dreadful for the last 9 minutes and 48 seconds. Surely you can give me 12 seconds solid D and stop them from getting a 3. All you got to do is force them to penetrate to the basket and don't foul.
Well, and if the worst comes to the worst and they make a 3, we'll win it in overtime then.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
But the score here, I mean, on this little caption here has 79-77.
So it looks like the referees may have changed it.
But the score's got on one of the stats things we have access to here is 80-77. We need to get some clarification on whether or not.
That changes it.
Bets are off on that one. Bets are off. This is one possession to win or take this to overtime.
Jeter one-on-one against, I think it's
Jeter penetrates, gets to the keyway, no foul call. That's a poor shot. They've got a foul now, and Thompson fouls. And Jeter, if he's going to take that, has got to get a better angle. And I'm not going to give him a hard time because he's always been one of the reasons this team has got back in the game. This isn't over now because there's still enough time with these free throws. They've got to make both to ice this game.
Because this game should have been put to bed midway through the third quarter.
This to ice the game, and that should be it. We've got a timeout, though. They'll get the ball at the house. You can blow this now. They need a quick score and then anything. But 5 seconds, those free throws should have sealed it.
Yeah, that should be it. That should be it. That's all, folks. You know, it's been an incredible basketball game. It's almost hard to catch your breath the way both teams have played here. Jerusalem, when the return leg of this competition.
Well, the big thing for me is that Jerusalem has shown a lot of heart here. They showed a lot of belief in each other, and that is going to bode well for them as this tournament unravels. And it's a 3 still.
He definitely had his toe behind the line.
That's a big call by the officials. I mean,
well, and it had to be to overturn it. That means even when they looked at the video evidence, they've got to be 100% certain that it was wrong. So that's one to send back to Mr. Bertomeu at the ULEB offices in Barcelona.
Well, this will be indeed. Got to shoot the ball quickly. Naomi pulls up for 3, possibly fouled. Is off. That's it. Put the win down in the win column for ΑΡΗΣ because they win it 81-77, and both teams have shown tonight, to me, Martin, that they are contenders.
Yeah, you can see that this group is by no means going to be a walk in the park. Group Zadar, even Sholiai will be fancying their chances again to qualify for the next round.
Well, there's the result. It's an 81-77 win for ΑΡΗΣ, but both teams have shown they will be contenders in this Eurogroup C of the Europe Cup. 81-77 for ΑΡΗΣ. And we talked about in the beginning, Dixon came through with a big shot.
I tell you, all mistakes previous to that will be forgiven because the big shot he makes down the stretch, you know, he comes up with 20 points on the night, but the final jump win across the board. Jerusalem going into Saloniki, one of the toughest road gyms to go to, and coming up big, coming back from down by 18 points in the third quarter. Wow, what a cup! The EuroCup is certainly alive and well.
Well, last week was great because we were in Tel Aviv. Right, in Jerusalem. We were in Israel. The fans were great. Well, we've topped it tonight. The trouble now is we've set a standard for this competition in the first 2 weeks. This competition gets better and better every year. ΑΡΗΣ claim to be a EuroLeague level team, and they are. They're a definite team with an opportunity to get to that level. Jerusalem have shown they are a real contender for this EuroCup title.
Yeah, well, they did. They reloaded, put a new team together. ΑΡΗΣ think that they're EuroLeague bound. Jerusalem think they're going to the final 8 as well.
Wow. The second week of the Europe Cup has been and gone. ΑΡΗΣ have ended it up 2-0. Well on the way to getting themselves into the knockout stage of the Europe Cup. Make sure you look for the schedules next week because we've got 2 more games next week in the Europe Cup. It's bye from ΑΡΗΣ, from me, Mark Clark, and Martin Henman. See you next week.